everyone, it's me Baylee, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing the mid-year freakout tag, and this is the first time that I'm actually going to be doing this tag, so I'm super excited to dive into my answers with you guys and just let you know about my reading year so far. So I have actually read 130 books so far this year, which saying that is absolutely crazy to think about, but I've just been really in like a reading mood this year, it seems. So I have read quite a few books this year, and so I'm excited to talk about some of my standouts. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. So the first question is the best book that you've read so far this year, and honestly this was a really hard question. I have read a lot of really good books this year, but there were three that really stuck out to me, and the first one being A Not So Meet Cute by Megan Quinn. And I loved this book so much. I read this back in January and I gave it 5 stars. It was so good. I absolutely loved it. It is a like fake dating billionaire type romance, and honestly just so good. Also, another one that is probably my favorite that I've read so far this year is A Brush with Love by Maisie Eddings, and this book was just absolutely so good. The mental health rep in it was so amazing, and honestly just the dental school aspect and everything about that book was just so good. I loved it so much. And then the third one that was also a part of this tie is Lease on Love by Fallon Ballard, and I will be talking about this book quite a bit because this book was so good. I just finished this the other day and I absolutely loved this book. It is so just like relatable to anyone who is like newly an adult, I guess you could say. Like if you're like fresh out of college, or even if you're still in college and you're like going through some life changes, this book so good. Question number 2 is the best sequel that you've read so far, and I'm gonna have to go with Heavy Crown by Sophie Lark, and this is the last book in the Brutal Birthright series. So if you don't know, I started this series at the end of last year and have been slowly making my way through the Sophie Lark universe, reading all of her Brutal Birthright series and Kingmakers and The Underworld and all those books. And so far my favorite one has been Heavy Crown, and this follows Sebastian, who is the youngest Gallo sibling, and it's so good. The ending was absolutely insane, so just like mind-blowing in a way, very like attention grabbing, and just so good. Question number 3 is a new release you haven't read this year but want to, and that is The Company of Fiends by Catherine Moon. This came out, so the day that I'm filming this, it is June 24th, and this came out yesterday on the 23rd, so I am super excited to read it. It's obviously a very fresh new release, and I cannot wait to read it. If you didn't know, A Lady of Rooksgrove Manor was one of my favorite books of last year, and this is the second book in what is like a companion series, so I'm super excited to read this one, dive back into this world, and see if I like it just as much. Question number 4 is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and for this one it is definitely for sure 100% gonna have to be Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. I read The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood last year and I absolutely loved it. It was one of my favorite books of last year, one of my favorite books of all time. I absolutely love that book, and so I'm super excited to read Love on the Brain later this year in August when it comes out, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. I actually do have an ARC of it, which I'm very grateful and blessed to have been given an ARC by NetGalley, so I will be hopefully picking that up pretty soon, and I'm super excited to read it. Question number 5 is my biggest disappointment, and so far I'm gonna have to say it is On Rotation. So this book, I hated this book. I DNF'd it at 35%. I really tried to make it through, but I literally just could not. I have a video talking about all of my thoughts, so I will have that linked in the art card if I can remember, but I was so disappointed in this book. I thought that it was gonna be like more than it was, and it didn't help that I absolutely could not stand the main love interest. He just was disgusting. Like, he gave me the ick so bad that I just could not continue on. fine, but yeah, I would not recommend that book. I did not like it. Question number 6 is the biggest surprise, and this one is actually really surprising, especially if you've been watching my channel for a while. You would be like, whoa, wait a minute, who are you? But for this one, I'm gonna have to go with Renegades by Marissa Meyer, and this is a young adult sci-fi dystopian novel, and I loved this. It was honestly so good. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like this or not, just because I'm not the biggest sci-fi fan, but I picked this up and I absolutely loved it. And I even read the second book as well, and it was really good as well. So honestly, this whole series, I think I would recommend it. It was definitely surprising, especially as someone who doesn't really read YA as much anymore. The fact that it's YA and sci-fi and I loved it, it's just, yeah, it's crazy. Question number 7 is new favorite author, and for that one, again, I'm gonna have to throw up Laced with Love for Fallon Ballard. And honestly, I love this book so much that I think Fallon Ballard is going to be an auto-buy author for me. This was her debut novel, and I literally loved everything about this. So she has another book coming out next year, I believe, like late next year. So I'm already super excited to read this one, just because I love her writing style. I love the story, just everything about this book. I loved it. Question number 8 is a new favorite character, and honestly, I have no idea. I literally have no idea. I thought about this and I've thought about this, and I literally could not even tell you who it would be. I'm coming up with a blank when I am thinking about like new favorite characters, and I don't know if it's just because I haven't really read anything with like characters that I'm like, yes, absolutely, like I would like to be this person. But this one was just really hard for me, and I don't think I have an answer for this one. So question number 9 is a book that made you cry, and this probably isn't going to be surprising for anyone, but I'm actually not a crier. Like, I do not cry often in books. It takes a lot for me to cry in a book, and so for this one, I'm picking House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. I did recently reread this book at the beginning of this year in prep for House of Sky and Breath, and based on my tabs, you can tell that I absolutely love this book, and I had such a good time with my reread, and I cried. I did it, and this has been the only book that I've cried as far as I can remember. And yeah, if you know, you know. So the next question is a book that made you happy, and this definitely has to be A Brush with Love by Maisie Edding. This book is just pure serotonin. I loved everything about that book. Like, it was just so good, and I cannot recommend it enough. Question number 11 is the most beautiful book that you have bought or received. I took it as this year. I didn't know if it would be of all time, but I'm just gonna go with from the last 6 months, and the most beautiful book that I bought in the last 6 months is House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. I was actually very disappointed in this book because I had a lot of high hopes. The ending, however, did not disappoint. It was a very wild ending, but as far as the rest of the book, like, I was very disappointed in it, but it is absolutely stunning. It's beautiful with Hunt on the cover, and then even with like the end pages. Like, this book, even though the like outside of the book is a little bit bland, the cover and the end pages make up for it, and honestly, this book is just so beautiful. So question number 12 and the final question of this video is books you need to read by the end of the year, and I did actually pull a few of these, so I'm just gonna go through them real quick. So first, we have My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. This is her newest release. We also have Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. We've got The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. We have Throttled by Lauren Asher. We have Flock by Kate Stewart, and Twisted Love by Anna Hong. And honestly, so many more. I want to finish the Addicted series and read the Calorie Sister series. The newest Elena Armos book is coming out later this year, The American Roommate Experiment. So many books, so little time. There's so many more books that I want to read this year, and hopefully I can read them all. So that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing to my channel. You don't have to. It'd be awesome if you did, though. I will have all of my social media linked down in the description if you want to follow me or be friends, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.